diverse and multi-ethnic country, the framers of our Constitution made provisions for the federal character principle to foster togetherness and sense of belonging among citizens. So a breach of the principle would jeopardize unity and peace in the country. As such, the federal government has told the Federal Character Commission to prosecute ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, violating the principle. The chairman of the commission, Muheeba Dankaka, said heads of MDAs who refuse to obey the federal character principle in employment or spread of projects will be prosecuted. Emeka, yes, federal character principle, saying that, look, you must adhere to this principle as enshrined in our statute book.
Everybody in government, from the president down, is guilty of this. So who are they?
To have violated that principle?
Yes, yes. In appointments, in spread of projects, name it. All of them are guilty of this. You see, why did that federal principle, character principle come? How did it come about? It was to promote fairness, equity, justice, and inclusion, so that every part of Nigeria will feel a sense of belonging. But when you, for instance, the recruitment of one of the security agencies, you had a preponderance of candidates from a particular state. I mean, is it that the people from that state are more intelligent than Nigerians from the other 35 states and the FCT? Look at appointments. Look at the spread of appointments by geopolitical zone. There's no balance. Look at spread of projects. Oh, people tell you, no, you're not being fair to the government. But you see, these things, some of us move around from time to time to see some of these things. And we see it's not the way these things are being portrayed. So, instead of just giving an order that nobody will carry out, that they should be prosecuted, nobody is going to prosecute anybody. This is the way we are in this country. Nobody is going to prosecute anybody for violating anything. There are permanent secretaries that ought to have resigned, that ought to have retired. In fact, they are retired and they were brought back. They were brought back. For what? Is it that you don't have younger people who should necessarily take over from them? Then there are appointments that you find out that somebody from a particular part of the country was heading a parastatal. Immediately he or she was removed, or the tenure ended and the person left, somebody from another part of the country was put there to replace the person. Let's look at the balance. Look at the spread of appointments. Why? Why should this be the case? What are we telling Nigerians? You say Nigerians shouldn't live in droves to other countries, but you don't make them to have a sense of belonging in their own country. And then you are pretending as if, oh, it's just something that can be managed. No, it is at a critical level, and it must be redressed, because that's part of what is fueling some, things, like agitation, fueling a lot of things in the country. People are so angry. In fact, many Nigerians, if they had their way, they will just turn their backs on Nigeria and take citizenship of other countries. It's so bad.
If you look at this administration in terms of respecting that federal character, in terms of distribution of appointments and everything across the MDAs, from what you've seen holistically, there was a time the Office of the Vice President actually published, sector by sector, from the north, from the south, how the appointments were actually distributed.
Ayo. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is the most guilty of this allegation, regardless of what anybody published. The optics, let me just look at two strategic sectors of Nigeria's government. Look at the security, all the security arms. It's too obvious. Then the 30-something.
But the
30-something
for the security arms
is that,
we have 7 generals that are waiting, that are on the queue, and those generals, 7 of them are from the north.
How did they get how did 7 generals in the north get promoted to that level above their peers? Don't they have classmates who come from the south, other parts of the country that should have been promoted like themselves? Is it that they have such extra talent for security jobs that they now got promoted and they are colleagues? They have classmates. Do you understand? So that takes care of that. Then government-owned agencies that generate revenues. Most of their leaders, heads, are from a certain part of the country. So I repeat, the president is the most guilty. So this Muheeba Dankaka should be speaking openly and directly to the president who appointed her to that position. But this Dankaka is either a mischievous person or a totally ignorant person. Section 14 of Nigeria, this chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution, which is the objective principle of state policy. Do you understand? Section 14 is within that chapter 2. And that is where it says that you must have section 14, I believe, says you should have federal character in appointing officers as well as in citing projects. Ayo, Emeka, do you know that section 6.6 of the Constitution says, it's an ouster clause, that says that you cannot prosecute the government for failing to implement the provisions inside chapter 2. So this person is either a mischievous person or is a totally ignorant person to come and be telling us what cannot work. You can, he says you will prosecute. Who is she going to prosecute? Who? How? Which court? The Constitution says you cannot prosecute any government or government official that fails to carry out anything under the chapter 2 of the Constitution. And then this person comes and is fooling who? Who is she fooling? These people should just be more careful. This person is a result of this one-sided appointment. This person, I'm not sure this person is really qualified for this job. For her or whoever this person is, not to have known that she should not make this kind of statement in the public domain. Lawyers who are listening to me will go and check chapter 6 and chapter 14 of the Constitution. It says that whatever this woman is saying is already been pushed out by the outer clause in section 6 of the Constitution. So this is a mischievous person.
Are you saying that we don't have sanctions or punishment?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There's no sanction. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it clear. I mean, listen, section 14 of the Constitution is within chapter 2 of the Constitution. And section 6 says that the laws cannot compel government to carry out anything in chapter 2. That is sections 13 to section 24 of the Constitution. Those are the things there.
Emeka, how can we balance this up? How can we bring this trust? How can we make sure that we carry everybody along? Because never before have we been this divided as a nation.
You see, the point is this. Those in government should stop regarding government as if it is exclusive of the people. The federal government, I was calling somebody some days ago, the federal government is the largest employer of labor in Nigeria. So what it means is that every part of the country is clamoring for federal presence. If you establish a federal institution anywhere, you can be guaranteed that you're employing at least 100 people. And you have a multiplier effect. You get people employed. What you're doing is that you are pushing the federal government's influence across every nook and cranny of the country. So what should be done is that the National Assembly should sit up and stop rubber stamping every bill. National Assembly should be more responsible by removing that ouster clause, by ensuring that, you see, it takes steps to balance these projects, because it's really wrong. How can you tell me that an entire region, the southeast, under this administration has not produced a single security chief. There is no way you can justify it. It is injustice, it's wickedness. Then you tell people, oh, you are crime marginalization, every part of the country is crime marginalization. Excuse me, let's balance all the projects.
Are you saying the president should go and get somebody from other organizations if they are not in the army, they are not available as general?
No, they are available. They are available. What about general stage? What about when the other chief of army staff died? And there was the expectation, was it General Hangout was going to be appointed as the chief of army staff? As a matter of fact, influential Nigerians came out to say, use this to reduce the agitation in the southeast.
He has got
but he didn't. But it was not.
He was due for retirement.
Look, Ayo. The president is primus inter pares, is a powerful figure. The federal government has power to make policies for every Nigerian to feel a sense of belonging. You see, let's stop making government look like a football that anybody can kick. Government has power. Government can actually make things adjust in such a way that every part of Nigeria will feel a sense of belonging. Do it. Even if the man was near retirement age. We have seen people appointed in this country who just had about 6 months to go, but they were appointed.
Buhari went to bring somebody who had already retired, brought him back to come and help the
General of Customs.
A lot of people will say with this argument that we might be sacrificing merits.
The people that are there, what quality of service are they?
If there was merit, why are bandits?
Okay, look at NNPC. Is that the way you run an NNPC? Where you put people there, people who are least qualified, you put them in strategic positions to people who are least prepared for the assignment you give to them, because their kinsman is the president of this country. He appoints them, puts them there, and begins to come with one genuine story about people and there are not enough generals for. What does that mean? Somebody was fooling around. The acting president asked him to go. The president came. The person who took over, appointed by the acting president, asked him, pushed him aside, went to look for somebody who had gone, brought him up. And you are saying people who say, haven't we had Chief Justice of Lagos State who sat for 3 months? Because it was her time.
Yes.
Okay. Mohammed Kabir is calling us from PLATEAU, Jos.
Good evening, journalist Hangout.
Yes, thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you. This is the first time I'm calling this station.
Oh, welcome.
I've been following you for quite some time. I want to keep into the ongoing discussion.
Okay, please do that.
Emeka have been my editor. I've been following him too. But I want to slightly disagree with the opinion. I am a strong member, I'm a strong advocate of the unity of this country. But I want to remind Emeka that if he's talking about the contact spread, let him check from the spread from region to region. That's one. Another one is let him tell Nigerians sincerely, I'm not supporting what the present government is doing. But if we are analyzing issues like that, let us be analytical and with fairness, with all sense of fairness. One wasn't just retired, the people, the likes of Buhari and co. Don't they have orders from the southwest or south or any part of the country? It's a problem of our country. Most of us have this belief. Some people started this issue. Something started somewhere. Similar of this nature started. Obasanjo was the first person to start planting all this ugly situation. If you check, when he came, there are a lot
Mohammed.
of who were that.
Thank you, Mohammed. Our time is spent.